Hey guys, SpinoDude here, and today we're going to be taking a look at another figure for the hashtag HowISafari campaign. So Marvin, bring out today's model. Thank you, Marvin. So today, guys, we are going to be taking a look at this. It is the Safari Ltd Suchomimus. Now, this Suchomimus figure was released back in 2014, and I just want to send out a big thank you to Safari Ltd for sending this over to us so we can make this video today. So without further ado, guys, let's start with the review. Before we start taking a closer look at the figure, here are a few quick facts about Suchomimus itself. Suchomimus tenerensis means crocodile mimic. It was a massive spinosaurid that lived in the Cretaceous period of what is now Niger, Africa. Suchomimus could grow up to a whopping 36 feet long and weigh around 5 tons. Scientists think that Suchomimus was a piscivore, meaning that it fed on fish because of its long crocodilian-like snout. Its long thin teeth and claws were perfect for preventing fish from wiggling free and escaping. So without further ado, guys, let's start taking a closer look at this ancient African predator. Alright, so the first thing that really stands out to me when I look at this figure is just how crocodilian it appears. And I really like that they've gone for that look because Suchomimus, as you know, translates to crocodile mimic. Now, there's no fossil proof that Suchomimus or other spinosaurids had these square scales going down the body here similar to modern day crocodilians. But I think it looks really nice and it's a very creative addition to the sculpt. I love this ridge of larger scales starting behind the neck and going all the way down the back and tail. That looks really nice. And the color scheme is very crocodilian as well. I love the dark forest green going down the back, transitioning into the olive green that go down the limbs here. And then you have this bright orange yellow color on the stomach, which is actually very similar to the Elasmosaurus from Safari Ltd that we have reviewed on the channel. Here's a closer look at that head sculpt, which is really nicely done. I love the detailing in the eye. You can see the nostril carved out there as well as the ear on the back of the skull. The teeth are really nicely done as well for the head sculpt being so small on this model. And the color blending in the face is done really nicely as well. You can see some skin hanging down from the throat area there. That looks really nice. Now the head is turning off to the left, so you can see the skin is sort of bagging up on this side of the neck here. And if we flip around to the other side, you can see that the skin is stretched out over here because the head is looking off in the other direction. So that is a great attention to detail there. Another thing that I really love about this figure is its pose. And it sort of looks like the Suchomimus is on the edge of a riverbank waiting for some fish to swim by or below it so it can snatch them up. The one thing that does look a little bit awkward to me in the sculpt here is its left foot, and it sort of looks like it broke its ankle because it's sort of turned inwards. And maybe that's just on mine that I've received here. Maybe the leg is warped a little bit, but it does look a little bit awkward from some angles. From the side here, it's not too bad, especially if you make the back sort of facing you more. But from the front, you can definitely see it looks sort of like the foot is bent there. The claws on this model are done really nicely as well in a glossy black paint to give them a shiny look, which looks really nice. And again, here's another look at those beautiful individually sculpted scales. I like how they're smaller sort of in the limbs and towards the belly on the animal, but on the back they get larger, and there's these large ridges going down the back as well, which look really nice. The pose of the tail is really nice as well. It looks really stiff so it could support the animal when it was walking, but I do like this flick at the end where it's flicking off to the side. Here's a look at that pose from the top of the model, really nice. I like how the head is turning off to the left, the body is fairly straight, and then I like how the tail is flicking off to the right. Looks really nice. And there's another quick look at that beautiful head sculpt with all the really nicely detailed teeth. Alright, so for my overall thoughts on this figure, I think Safari Ltd has done a fantastic job of recreating the Suchomimus. If you're a fan of Spinosaurids like me, I definitely recommend that you go pick up this figure, especially since there aren't many Suchomimus figures out there. I really love the crocodilian look with the square scales and ridges going down the back. I think that's a really great creative addition to this figure. And again, the color scheme is so exotic, but so naturalistic at the same time. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, in terms of scientific accuracy with this figure, it is very well done. Perhaps the skull is a little bit too thick, but I think it still looks great. And my only real nitpick about this figure is the shaping of this foot here. It sort of looks like it has a broken ankle on its left foot here, but the foot might just be a little bit warped on my figure here, so it may not be on all of the other figures. So yeah, fantastic job once again, Safari Ltd. I absolutely love this figure. Alright, so you're probably wondering just how big this figure is, so Marvin, bring out the ruler. Thank you, Marvin. Alright, we've got our trusty flexi ruler now, so let's give this Suchomimus a measure. So in terms of the length from the tip of the snout all the way to the tip of the tail, we are looking at about 8 inches. And in terms of the height, at the highest point, which is the top of the tail there, we are looking at about 3 inches. Alright, for comparison, here is the Safari Ltd Suchomimus next to the recently reviewed Safari Ltd Elasmosaurus. If you want to see the review for this figure, link will be down below. Now you can see what I mean about both of these having very similar color schemes, with the dark green on top and then the bright yellow-orange on the stomach. I think these two look really nice next to each other, and I like that they're sort of matching. The Elasmosaurus is a really cool figure from Safari Ltd, so I definitely recommend that you go check that one out. Next up for comparison, here is the Safari Ltd Suchomimus next to the Safari Ltd Spinosaurus. We recently reviewed this figure on the channel as well, so make sure you go check that out. Link will be in the description. I think these figures look great on display next to each other. They are both detailed really nicely. If we adjust their pose a little bit, it almost looks like they're challenging each other, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the Spinosaurus is a 2016 release from Safari Ltd, so I definitely recommend that you go check that one out. And finally, for comparison, here is the Safari Ltd Suchomimus next to the Safari Ltd Gastornis. If you want to see the review for this figure, link will be down below. Now the reason I'm bringing Gastornis in here is because it was recently announced that Safari Ltd's Gastornis is going to be retired for 2017. So if you want to get this figure, make sure you get it as soon as possible. Safari Ltd's Gastornis is really well done, so make sure you go check out that video. Well, there we go, guys. That was today's look at Safari Ltd Suchomimus. I think this is a fantastic piece, especially since there aren't too many Suchomimus figures out there. I love the crocodilian-like details in the sculpt, and I love the color scheme. So if you guys want to get this figure for yourself, be sure to go to www.safarilimited.com. Also be sure to check out their other awesome products. And if you guys want to learn more about the #HowISafari campaign, check out their Facebook page and other social media. So anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment telling me your opinion on this model. So thank you so much guys for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care and bye bye.